between President Trump and Xi. The Trump administration last month banned ZTE, which makes smartphones running Google's Android's operating system from using U.S. technology after accusing it of violating a deal in which it agreed to pay $1.2 billion for evading U.S. sanctions on North Korea and Iran. Trump also needs China's cooperation and continued pressure on North Korea as he prepares for his summit with the isolated state leader, Kim Jong-un, in Singapore on June 12th. Now we go to Susan Kennedy, our field reporter and special expert on all things policy. Susan, what can you tell us about this?
Thank you, Josefina. Politicizing enforcement action also weakens U.S. arguments to foreign governments that the rule of law and good governance are crucial to healthy political systems and regulated interaction between governments. The Trump administration is locked in confrontation with China over alleged intellectual property theft, market access, and the size of the Chinese trade surplus with the U.S., which prompted Trump to threaten $150 billion in import duties on Chinese goods. Trump is backing off, and his policy is now designed to achieve one goal: make China great again.
Ready.
This is an example of how the executive branch, and more chiefly the president, takes action to implement foreign policy. The president is the chief initiator of foreign policy in the United States. Now back to you, Josefina.
An influx of attorneys and judges have been sent to the border. Sessions said a total of 35 assistant U.S. attorneys would be added in the 5 districts along the southern border to allow for more cases to be brought against illegal crossings and human smuggling. And 18 immigration judges would be tapped to hear cases in person and through video conferencing at border state immigration courts. This announcement also came as dozens of migrants looking to call attention to their plight in Central America have reached the U.S. border, where they are slowly being allowed across to be processed for their asylum claims. Supporters say it exposes the need for asylum laws that offer protections to people fleeing dangerous and deadly persecution in their home countries. But the administration has used the situation to call for tougher laws, claiming migrants coming north are exploiting the U.S. system. These recent events are being widely broadcasted in the media, classifying the situation as a need for asylum laws. On the contrary, giving the administration a platform for their political agenda. The White House is utilizing the story to back up their reasoning for even stricter border policy and immigration laws. Sessions recently commented, "We are sending a message worldwide: don't come illegally. We are not going to let this country be overwhelmed. People are not going to caravan or otherwise stampede our border. People should wait their turn, ask to apply lawfully before they enter our country."
Zero tolerance policy for illegal entry on our southwest border. If you cross the border unlawfully, then we will prosecute you. It's that simple. If you smuggle illegal aliens across our border, then we will prosecute you. If you are smuggling a child, then we will prosecute you. And that child may be separated from you as required by law. If you make false statements to an immigration officer or file a fraudulent asylum claim, that's a felony. If you help others do so, that's a felony also. You're going to the jail. So if you're going to come to this country, come here legally. Don't come here illegally.
Now, on the ongoing net neutrality situation, the Federal Communications Commission said in a notice filed Thursday that new rules repealing the net neutrality protections are set to take effect on June 11th. Ajit Pai, chairman of the SEC, has stated, now, on June 11th, these unnecessary and harmful internet regulations will be repealed, and the bipartisan, light-touch approach that served the online world well. Now we go to Susan Kennedy, our field reporter and special expert on all things policy. Susan, what can you tell us about this?
Thank you, Josefina. A spokeswoman for the FCC previously directed CNN Money to a section of the final order for net neutrality, in which the FCC asserts authority to prevent states from pursuing laws inconsistent with the net neutrality repeal. Rosalind Layton, a visiting scholar at the American Enterprise Institution who served on President Trump's transition team for the FCC, stated herself, "It's patently illegal for the states to make their own internet policies." Layton expects telecommunication companies will sue the states if they had tried to enforce the protections. Just to clarify, net neutrality is the principle that internet services providers should enable access to all content applications regardless of the source, and without favoring or blocking particular products or websites. The U.S. Constitution protection of freedom of speech and expression against federal, states, and local government censorship, as written in the First Amendment. These protections extend to the internet as well. However, the U.S. government has censored sites in these past, and they're increasing the number to this day. Back to you, Josefina.
So in the midst of all this net neutrality issue, the government repealing net neutrality could allow political agenda and paid corporations to take priority over the truth and could prevent the public from access to full content. This is why the leading lobbying groups for Amazon, Facebook, Google, and other tech giants are joining the legal battle to restore net neutrality.
Service providers should treat all traffic more or less the same on their network.
This means the companies whose wires and towers we use to access the internet get neutrality. Because it means that even if some of their products, like streaming this video for example, take up a lot more bandwidth than others like email, internet service providers can't charge them extra for getting all that data to our phones and computers. Which is exactly why ISP.
I'm Susan Kennedy, reporting from China, Channel 9, and I'm signing off.
Great reporting, Susan. And now we go to our daily forecast. Summer winners, what does the forecast look like today?
Thanks, Josefina. It's a bit cold outside. It's about 60, 70 degrees, so bring those jackets. I'm Summer Winters, back to you, Josefina. And now a quick message from our sponsors.
Do you find yourself always having to go to the bathroom and doing this embarrassing dance everywhere?
Then use Relieve No More, a fast-acting pill that relieves all your toilet needs.
I use Relieve No More, and now I only go once a day.
In other news, on Monday, May 14th, 2018, the Supreme Court struck down a federal ban on sports betting, setting forth a federal precedent for states across the country. This recent ruling overturned the 1992 federal ban prohibiting most states from authorizing state betting. The court said the federal law violated constitutional principles, limiting the federal government from controlling state policy unconstitutionally, forcing states to prohibit sports betting under their own laws. Justice Samuel Alito explained, saying, Congress can regulate sports gambling directly, but if it elects not to do so, each state is free to act on its own. This, of course, is an affirmation of the 10th Amendment of the Constitution, which delegates the power not given to the U.S. government to the states respectively, or to the people.
Things to remember about the First Amendment protection of free speech. The primary reason to have freedom of speech is to allow for public criticism of the stupid government. Stupid government. That's the sort of thing that can land you in jail in countries that don't have strong free speech protections.
The Pro and Amateur Sports Protection Act prohibits states from authorizing by law sports betting. But there are larger issues at stake here as well. New Jersey arguing that federal...
Big win for the state of New Jersey, who initially brought this lawsuit to the Supreme Court. Former Governor Chris Christie and current Governor Phil Murphy both argued that sports betting was a way to encourage tourism and tax revenue, and was supported by the NCAA, the NFL, and the NBA. In addition, the American Gaming Association, an interest group founded in 1994 with the goal of promoting, educating, and lobbying to push forth federal policy on behalf of the gaming entertainment industry, call this ruling a victory for millions of Americans who seek to bet on sports in a safe and regulated manner. I'm Josefina Baker, and you're watching Channel 9 News. Thank you.